Welcome back on the Good Morning Artesia radio show. County Commissioner Fred Beard and I solving all the world's problems here. If they would just ask, Commissioner, if the governor would just call and say, what do you think I should do about this? We would offer excellent advice and suggestions.
If they would just use a little common sense and apply the constitutions of our state and our nation and duly passed amendments, they would...
Instead of trying to get around the amendments and get around the Constitution and try to figure out how to stack everything to where they don't have to deal with those pesky little things like...
little details.
You know, I love how the Democrats in the Senate in Washington love the filibuster when the Republicans are in control and the Republican president is in the White House. They love using the filibuster to block things that they don't agree with.
The best thing the Republicans have done is when Tom Cotton got up there and gave that impassioned speech about why we don't have it and why we shouldn't pass it. And then he said, oh, by the way, I don't want to plagiarize Chuck Schumer. He's the one that wrote this speech. And he picked up he gave that speech back when, Trump was pushing that.
That's right. That's right. No, I hope more people see the hypocrisy of all this. You either stand on the principles of the institution and the rules, the way it was established and set, and the history and the traditions, or you don't, and you don't turn it on and off depending on what the issue is or who's in the White House or what you're trying to get done. If you want to get voting laws passed, then you're going to have to talk to the other side, and you're going to have to work on something that more people would agree on.
Why are they passing these voting laws? I would maintain they're a bunch of racists.
I think they are.
Their voters are so stupid and so incompetent that they can't get photo ID or find their way to the polling place. They've got to have somebody hand them a mail-in ballot.
I saw a poll that they asked a bunch of people in a blue state, I think it was New York, what do you think of these? You have to show an ID and a vaccine card to go into a restaurant and eat a hamburger. And they said, well, fine. Should you show a voter ID, show an ID in order to be able to vote? And it was amazing how many people were perfectly okay with being required to show an ID and a vaccine card to go buy a hamburger, but didn't think it was a good idea to show some form of an identification in order to be able to vote. And that's part of our problem. Let's get into the county commission meeting here.
I was just fixing to go on the other stuff.
Yeah. So what'd you guys work on yesterday?
Well, let me start with, I always like to start with awards. We've got, Pete Marquez in the sheriff's office that's got 21 years in. Jesus Vasquez, sheriff's office, 20 years and a month. And that kind of says something about the county and our departments that are staying around for so long. And we've got a county commissioner, Jonathan Henry, that's got 5 years. So yeah, so that was a lot of fun. And then we got some budgetary reports, and I think one of the reasons that we are so high on gas and oil down here, so far the revenues from oil halfway through the fiscal year is about $50 million, and we're expecting another $50+ million to come in before the end of the fiscal year. And when you've got a $111 million budget, that's kind of a big deal. That kind of makes everything else gravy. So
wow. That's from the oil and gas revenue.
And that's just Eddy County.
That's not property tax revenue or any other revenue.
We have, previous commissions have had the good sense to budget oil conservatively. So we budgeted oil at $45 a barrel, and now it's over 80 and still rising. So Eddy County's in good shape.
Okay.
And then we got into, we had a very good day for first responders.
Okay.
And there was a lot of talk of it, funding them. Sheriff Cage was there, and we had a lot of discussion about he was wanting some, he was being very meager about asking for some new positions. We're changing a lieutenant patrol position, a reclassification to get more lieutenants, more supervisions out there, and he wants to kind of get 4 new sheriff deputies over, the next 4 years. So we gave him 6. So, and I kind of made the caveat, or with the caveat that we make it very difficult for the hole-in-the-wall gang down there on the border to push their product through Eddy County.
Yeah. Well,
so
that would be good if we could do that.
That would be good.
Yeah.
Now and we talked about a little bit about this a while ago, Joshua Mack was there and Jared Zuniga, and they're buying a lot of new equipment, medical equipment. They're actually going to buy some, and I don't know whether it's 4 or 12. I've got my numbers interposed here. One of them's for the deal they shock you with.
Okay.
But they're actually CPR machines that will actually do what a human has to do normally. Well, if somebody's out there on their own, they can do that while other things are being done to keep somebody going. We're getting a good crew. There's a lot of training going on, a lot of education going on. There's been some pushback on it. It's everybody wants to do same old, same old. We've got new insurance regulations, the ISO scores. We're trying to drive them up where our residents pay less. Did I run through this earlier on the air?
We touched on it briefly, yeah. No, you touched on it briefly. So based on the actions that the commission took, then we'll move that forward then based on...
Well, we voted to move that forward, and some of that's within their budget, and they were just making us aware of that. I think I may have thought that was...
Well, the machine thing is interesting because, that type of situation happens. It's very stressful. And as good as your training is, and as important as the training is, mentally there may be so many other things that are going on that it...
Well, there is, and if you're responding and you're the first one on the scene at, say, an accident or maybe an overdose or something, and these are going to be in the supervisory vehicles as well, because they're usually the first ones to show up on the scene when somebody gets toned out. Yeah. So they've got the stuff to really do something, and I think it's pretty common knowledge. The sooner the better on that kind of stuff.
That's right. That's pretty good. That's pretty good.
And there's an overhire in the lieutenant position for Billy Massengale, our Department of Corrections, the jail.
Okay.
They're doing very well right now. There's a lot of problems in that jail, and there's going to be more discussion on that coming. We're at a point that jail's getting very old. I don't know what we're going to do, but we're going to have to do something.
Yeah.
Along with, we passed a couple $1 million to put another judge in the courthouse here a while back, and that's kind of a temporary fix as well. But, we've got an opportunity to get a 4th judge, and I think John talked about this one here last time he was on the air, that we need the 4th judge. Our 3 judges are very much overloaded.
They're busy, yeah.
They're very busy. So we need to do something along those lines. Our population.
But where are they going to be? Where's the courtroom, or where's their office going to be?
Well, we'll jiggle some stuff around and some remodel and put a new courtroom in the existing courthouse. But there's going to be a situation coming up with that eventually, which I don't want any part of, but I'm not going to have a choice.
I know, because there's a lot of great ideas, but for every great idea, there's opposition to that particular idea. And
especially in Artesia.
It's going to be hard to settle on a decision that minimizes, anger.
Well, there's been some discussion on that jail. Why don't we do the Joe Arpaio deal and go out and build a chain link fence and put everybody in that? Well, it was costing him as much money per inmate as it was some of the big jails, and the reason was lawsuits.
Yeah.
And that goes back to, how did we get to the point that an incarcerated felon can sue the state for
Yeah,
sometimes millions of dollars because
yeah.
they're not happy, their meals aren't good, they're overcrowded, what have you.
Yeah.
You know,
whereas the idea is, if you don't want to eat, if you don't want to wear pink underwear and eat day-old bologna,
stay out of jail.
And live in a tent. Don't get incarcerated, and then that won't happen. But anyway, that's
if you can't do the time, don't do the crime.
Don't do the crime. That used to be a good phrase there, but
it's kind of fallen by the wayside.
Hey, we need a break for news. I do have a guest coming in on the other side of the hour, but did you want to? Anything else you want to cover? You want to come back right after the news and finish up with anything else?
I've got about 2 minutes I would like to.
Okay, very good. We will do that on the other side of the news. County Commissioner Fred Beard is with us. This is KSVP.